Ooh. Uh-oh. Ta-da! Hi there, welcome to my channel. I am Eric Perkins Artist, and today I'm doing a demonstration and review of the Noor Woodless Progresso pencils. I'm also going to be kind of comparing those pencils to your standard number 2 pencil. The one that I'm using in this case is made by Dixon Ticonderoga, which is, I believe, probably the most popular or common basic number 2 pencil. In order to compare and contrast the different pencils that I'm going to be using, I decided to create sort of a test page where I could try out every pencil in the same way to compare them in equal measure. So I created a section of blocks to fill in with values, sections for dots and lines and other different kinds of mark making. And I fill these blocks in each of these sections with the different pencils as we go through. Now, I've been using a number 2 pencil, or I have been. I guess I am most familiar with the number 2 pencil, the basic number 2. So it seemed like the number 2 pencil did a really good job at getting through all the different marks and the different values without much issue at all. When I switched over to the Progresso, the woodless HB pencil, I found that it was kind of scratchy, a little bit. It did really good on making lighter values, but it was kind of difficult to get some of the darker values out of it. It generally just kind of felt harder and scratchier than your standard number 2 pencil. One of the first things I noticed when I switched from the number 2 pencil to the Noor pencil, being that it's woodless, it's a lot heavier because it's all graphite. It's all just held together with that lacquer coating on the outside of it. So that makes a little bit of a difference as far as when you're drawing. You will feel that different weight, and it's definitely something to get used to. I've personally found the 2B pencil to be pretty comparable to the standard HB pencil, which is a little bit weird, but since the HB was lighter than the standard number 2, I guess the 2B would probably be a little bit darker, and maybe that would be the level that I'm used to. So I didn't have any real issues with the 2B. Switching to the 4B pencil, I've noticed it is smooth and it's dark. You can get dark values really easily with it. Getting the lighter values is a little bit trickier because you've got to use a very light pressure, and keep in mind your pencil's already heavy, so if you're not used to using these, it's very easy to just immediately go straight to dark. And it's at this point I start, I think, having a little bit of problem getting some of those different value ranges in at the mid-range. The 6B pencil seemed to have like a dark medium value to it. Again, smooth color, or the graphite's going down nice and smooth, but it was a little bit tricky to get lighter and darker values out of it. So that's kind of strange considering the 4B had no problem getting darker, but the 6B seems to kind of want to stay right at its level. But again, of course, we're getting softer and softer with these pencils, and the weight is there, so it, with that added weight, it wants to go dark right away. Getting to the 8B, I had to be really, really, really gentle with the pencil in order to get the lighter values here. But again, we're getting softer and softer every time we advance to the next pencil. And yes, as I get into this 9B pencil, it's very smooth, it's very black. It is not meant to make light values. And in order to get those light values with this heavy pencil, I have to go really, really lightly. It's like the pencil is barely touching the page. And of course, you might have noticed at some points I was using a pencil extender. That's because this is not the first time I've ever used these pencils, and some of them are worn down. But also, this is something to keep in mind with these woodless graphite pencils. They are fragile. If you drop it on the floor, it's going to shatter, which is why I have 3 or 4 pieces of some of my darker values, like my 6B and my 8B. So there's good sides and bad to using these pencils. In comparison, I would say that the Dixon Ticonderoga number 2 pencil is a great all-around pencil. You can get light values, dark values. I mean, yeah, you got to push really hard to get those dark, like pure black. But it's got a light weight to it, and it goes from one range to or one value to the next without too much difficulty. The number 2 standard pencil is a great tool for creating value range, sketching, all that stuff. The only reason you use something different is because you prefer something different. So I would say that the Noor Woodless Progresso pencils, they add complexity to the drawing process, because it adds a range of softness and hardness to your pencils that you can use to create different values, but you also kind of need to be using the appropriate pencil for the appropriate value. I do like the smoothness of them, aside from the HB pencil, which, like I said, was scratchy. It feels like drawing with clay, which is not nice. But if you like a hard pencil, like maybe a 2H or a 4H, that one might actually work out for you. Ultimately, I would say, there's no reason to rush out and buy a set of the woodless pencils unless you really want to use them. You can stick with your regular number 2 because, like I said, it is perfectly capable of doing the job. In order to demonstrate the pencils in use, I went ahead and sketched out a nativity scene. I laid out the drawing. I did some thumbnail work and some concept work, and then laid out the drawing. And I did all of that with the number 2 pencil. But then once I got to the rendering part, I started using my woodless pencils to lay in the rendering and try to get my good deep value range in. And ultimately, I really liked how the drawing came out. So then I went ahead and did the painting that you see here. I figured I would include that since it was the final product of that piece. Thank you so much for watching. If you decide to utilize the Noor Woodless Progresso pencils in your own work, or if you've tried them, what you thought about them. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.